Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome to 15 Things You Didn't Know About Australia. Now obviously every single country has its own unique little things about it, and so I want to know what I don't know about Australia, so here we go.
Today we'll be discussing the beautiful land down under, Australia. If there's one thing that Australia is best known for, it's its numerous stereotypes, most of which involve various kinds of slang. It's a well-known fact that Australians take pride in shortening almost every word in the English vocabulary.
Yes.
However, none of these American fables tell the whole truth about this beautiful region. What most people do not know is that by total area, this country is ranked as the 6th largest. It's comprised of the mainland, the Tasmanian Island, and several other tiny islands that surround the entire continent.
I mean, I guess that's true, but I certainly wouldn't be including all the tiny little islands that surround Australia in terms of counting towards the overall land size, you know? Even though I guess it does technically add to the entire land size of Australia, it is such a tiny percentage, and even though I guess it might be bigger than the Vatican City, it's probably only just bigger than the Vatican City.
Sydney is its biggest urban region, while Canberra serves as the country's capital. To the north, Australia is neighbored by East Timor, Indonesia, and Papua New Guinea.
There we go. I wonder if you tested people on that, how well would they know this part of the world? Because I'm fairly sure New Zealand is the most left off the country in the world in terms of left off maps. And so, yeah, I would love to know how well people know it. Do they go, I don't know where Indonesia is, I don't know where Papua New Guinea is, I don't know where this or that or this or that. And I mean, perhaps I'm a little bit biased, but I feel as though Australia is quite a unique shape. And so most people on the map would be able to either tell you what that country is if it's blank or just where it is or whatever. But other countries, I can only imagine that a lot of people would struggle.
While New Zealand neighbors it to the southeast. Vanuatu and the Solomon Islands neighbor it to the northeast. Dutch explorers discovered this island in the early 1600s,
the Dutch
which later opened it up to British settlers, who claimed half of the entire region to the east. Prior to these settlements, Australia...
Wait, firstly, so they didn't claim the entire thing? How did they not claim the entire thing? Maybe they just didn't know how big it was, but I just kind of assumed they came in and went, this entire thing is mine, considering they came from the west and they kind of just sailed along the coastline. I certainly would have thought that they would have just gone, nah, that is all just ours now. And yeah, it is always surprising to me that the Dutch actually found Australia, or I guess whatever you want to call it, first, because even though from memory when they arrived, they kind of didn't find anything they were looking for in terms of just, I don't know, this is a little bit of a swamp over here and whatnot. But given the fact that they were sailing all the way around, I can only assume that they would have had maps, and so they go, if nothing else, as wow, this is a big block of land that I'm sure someone would love to take if no one's there already.
It was inhabited by indigenous Aussies, who are believed to have over 200 language groups. By the late 1800s, Australia had already been fully occupied with over 6 different crown colonies established under colonial rule. It wasn't until January...
I can only assume that's going to be the original states before they kind of became Australia and everything like that.
January of 1901 that all 6 colonies came together, federated, and formed the Commonwealth of Australia. Today, Australia is the world's 13th strongest economy, and the second when it comes to the Global Human Development Index.
Yeah, even though we keep seeing statistics where it just shows that Australia is quite high in the overall in terms of GDP and everything, I just always get surprised because our population is so low.
It's also ranked highly in health, civil liberties, education, quality of life, economic freedom, and as a tourist destination.
What can I say?
Number 1. Progress-oriented. There are 2 endemic creatures featured in the Australian Code of Rights.
First of all, I had no idea where she was going to be going with that. I just went progress-oriented. Surely every country is kind of progress-oriented. I would certainly hope so. But no, in terms of the logo and everything.
There's an emu, the only bird closest in height to the ostrich, and a kangaroo. Both of these animals can only make forward movements. As such, it's believed that the use of these animals as national symbols signifies progress. It tends to paint the image of a country that is always moving forward, never backward. And
I mean, like I said, I would certainly like to think that is the case with every single country, and so it's a little bit of like a, well, of course, obviously, kind of situation that we've got going on there. And you can also argue that throughout history, there has definitely been a couple of steps backwards, but overall, I think it's a good idea if it's not implemented the best.
This is evident by the tremendous growth the country is experiencing on all fronts, be it education, economic stability, freedoms, and the like.
I guess so.
Number 2. Australia is home
beaches.
to 7,000 beaches.
Bondi right there.
Yes, as crazy as it may sound, Australia literally has 7,000 beaches.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't even know if that's a big number or a small number. Actually, well, I know it's a big number in terms of we have the most in the world, obviously, but as we know, Canada has the most coastline in the world, but we have the most beaches. But either way, to be honest, 7,000 beaches, or the number 7,000, is actually quite difficult to wrap your head around because they can be massive or tiny as well.
This is due to its unique geographical structure, which includes numerous islands, apart from the mainland itself.
Of course.
And this is what gives Australia the #1 ranking when when it comes to tourist-friendly destinations worldwide.
Oh wow, really?
Therefore, if surfing, sunbathing, fishing, or beach volleyball is your thing, you'll definitely find Australia to be a very welcoming host. Number 3. It's sparsely populated except for the coast.
Oh, of course. That is a very weird way to put it. It's sparsely populated but closest to the coast? Anyway.
In square kilometers in space, close to 80% of the country's population resides within 100,000 meters of the coastline.
100,000? What a random way to put it. What?
For a fact,
anyway,
all of the major cities have been built along the coast.
100K.
This is attributed to the fact that a greater chunk of the land is not fit for agriculture due to the water shortage experienced.
Yeah.
Much of the expanse is actually covered by dry land and deserts. As a result, inland there are only 2.7 people living per square kilometer.
2.7
This
per
is
square
a meager
kilometer.
figure compared to the UK's 248 people per square kilometer.
Jeez, I know we've certainly seen it before, and I'm fairly sure that it was actually higher than that, or maybe not. Either way, I'm getting confused, but either way, the entire thing just certainly makes sense. If there's nothing really out there for people, they're just not going to live there. And, you know, it's not like Vegas where we just, I don't know, somehow managed to put a city in the middle of the desert. There just isn't really anything out there. I mean, maybe eventually it'll expand, but realistically, I don't see it happening for a very long time, if it ever happens.
Number 4.
Longest
the
fence in the world.
longest fence in the world.
Rabbit-proof
The
fence.
saying, "at it like a rabbit's," holds a lot of weight in Australia.
Is that what the fence actually looks like?
There's a fence believed to stretch for approximately 5,600 kilometers that was originally put in place to prevent rabbits from spreading.
See, that's
Later
what
on,
I've
the
heard.
fence helps
But we saw another video which said a different thing, and so now I don't even know what to expect.
keep dingoes from accessing any fertile
was
regions
that?
from spreading. Later on, the fence helps keep dingoes from accessing any fertile regions.
Okay then, that's where the other one came into play
Number
then.
5. Longest golf course worldwide.
It's like 400K or
Still
something
on
ridiculous.
extremes, Australia is home to the biggest golf course.
Nice outfits. Look at those guys. They have absolutely committed to the entire attire there. I mean, I can only assume that they just put on their pants and their hat. But either way, I do have to give it to them for actually just fully committing and being matching, if nothing else.
It's estimated to be 1,368,000 meters in size. So,
What?
for all golf lovers, Australia has a
Why you keep measuring things in
whole
meters when
lot
they're
to
that big?
offer. It is also important to note that Australia has the longest railway stretch known to man.
Oh, wow.
478,000 meters in length.
Stop measuring things in meters. We have things with a K in front for a reason. 1,000 meters, kilometers. Oh God, it's like, what is that? Oh, yeah, then you got to just knock off 3 zeros every time.
Number 6. Australia moves 6 centimeters
What?
to the north annually.
Wow.
Research shows
So we're
that
moving
the
back
continental
together.
plate is gradually moving towards the equator, with the west coast moving faster than the east coast.
So we're
Every
tilting.
15 million years, the plate moves a half a degree. It might
Half a
seem like a
degree.
minute figure, but it greatly affects GPS readings.
What? Really? Wait. So I'm just a little bit stuck on that entire thing. So moving that minimally every single year is enough to affect GPS? I mean, over time, I can certainly imagine that it would add up. But like you said, a degree every 15 million years. That's a lot of time, and we certainly haven't been around for anywhere near that long. And so, I don't know. I feel as though in another 15 million years, when it's another degree, we probably, or I would certainly hope that we'd be using something a little bit more high-tech, that it doesn't completely stuff up the entire GPS system. And also, going back to the entire thing, they show that Australia moved, but is New Zealand moving as well? Because I'm fairly sure it's the entire kind of continental plate there, and so surely they're moving as well, but maybe not. Maybe we're separate in that much. I don't know. Anyway, let's go to Bob.
Number 7. Bob Hawke,
Guinness Book of World
Australia's
Records
beer
Prime
minister.
Minister.
No one has served longer as Australia's Prime Minister than Bob Hawke.
Ah.
However, his fame came to be 30 years prior to his election after he broke a
What?
Guinness World Record by drinking 2.5 pints of beer
2.5 pints?
in 12 seconds.
Whoa!
To a great
I forgot it was that much. That's ridiculous. No person should be able to do that.
extent. His election into office was greatly influenced by this, since the majority of
Wow.
those that voted for him were the beer drinking population.
I mean, I don't really know if that's the greatest fact in terms of just giving a stereotype or trying to get rid of a stereotype, whatever you want to call it, but either way, I guess you've got to give it to him. He has a Guinness Book of World Records. It's more so just the other part where you go, really, that's why people voted for him? Surely, I mean, he actually seemed like a decent Prime Minister overall. It was a bit before my time, but overall, I would certainly like to think that that isn't the only merit that people are voting for.
Number 8. Foster's is
No.
not the Australian drink
Get that
of
out of
choice.
here.
Aussies definitely drink a whole lot of beer. However, contrary to
As
popular
proven
belief,
by the last one.
Foster's is not among the popular beer brands in the country.
Is it even
The
Australian?
beer preference here varies depending on the geographical location.
Of
For instance,
course.
Cooper's is a very popular choice in southern Australia, as well as Adelaide, whereas 4X
That's
Gold
kind of
is
the
more
same thing.
popular in Queensland.
Oh yeah, of course they do.
Number 9. The second
Greece?
Greece.
Yes, actually, that's true.
Australia, and specifically Melbourne, is home to the largest Greek population. That is, after Greece.
Yes. I mean, you certainly wouldn't want to be beating Greece. That wouldn't make much sense. But no, it definitely is true. We have just a massive, massive amount of migrants. I don't even know when. I think I've talked about it before, but like back in the 60s or 50s, or I don't even know exactly when. But overall, they just had a massive new influx of people, and so suddenly we just became the second Greece, or I guess Melbourne in particular.
Are great Greek sites to visit, such as the Hellenic Museum and the Hellenic Foundation for Culture Center. Number 10.
Whoa,
rarest
really?
animal species.
What?
A while ago, we ranked some of the rarest species in the world. Australia is home to some of these animals, examples being the bilbies, koalas, quokkas, and wombats.
Are they saying...
It is said that millions of
Wait, I'm kind of confused. Maybe she'll
years
explain
ago, Australia helped form the Great Gondwana continent. Most of these rare species adapted to life in Australia after the continent broke away.
Oh, of course. Okay, so she's actually just saying that these species only really exist in Australia. And like I said before, New Zealand is also kind of in that kind of category because they have their own things. We have our own things, but we just generally have a few more, I guess, international animals, so to say, like the kangaroo and the koala. But really, it certainly makes sense.
Number 11. Watch out for the box jellyfish.
The box jellyfish.
Most people believe that crocodiles, drop bears,
What are those fish
funnel-web
doing?
spiders, or sharks are the most dangerous animals in Australia. However, the box jellyfish is responsible for more fatalities than all of these 4 species combined.
Wow.
It's because of this that authorities
Every year or just generally? Because, well, I guess probably they're going to add up either way.
insist that tourists should never wade into the Australian waters without a guide.
I mean, there is definitely some
Number
more... Oh, here we go. I can actually just use this map. I was going to say there is definitely some more areas up north that are going to be a little bit more populous with box jellyfish. I don't think they really live down south or on the coast, really, of the east coast or the west coast. And so I do wish that they covered that a little bit more in depth. But no, overall, I'm fairly sure if you're anywhere up north, you might have to look out for more things like crocodiles and box jellyfish and whatnot. But down south, maybe sharks are going to be the worst thing you have to watch out for.
12. Highest number of natural World Heritage Sites.
Wow.
The United Nations Educational, Scientific,
That's a
and
cool
Cultural
photo.
Organization, or UNESCO, has listed several World Heritage Sites in Australia.
Damn.
However, only 4 of them are not natural heritage sites.
What do you mean only 4 of them? Wait, what for? Yeah, of course, because they're including things like the Opera House and whatnot, and so yeah, that certainly makes
Sites
sense.
in Australia. However, only 4 of them are not natural heritage sites. The 4 include Carlton Gardens,
Oh, here we go.
Sydney Opera House, Royal Exhibition Building, and Australian convict sites.
Wow. I had no idea of anything besides, I guess, the Opera House. I mean, I might have heard of the Melbourne one, I forget its name, but yeah, overall, I haven't heard about them before. Well, coming back to here, I
And
certainly didn't
Australian
think that any of these things were kind of actually just listed as heritage sites.
Number 13. Australia is almost
classic.
equal in size to the USA. Most people
Within
assume that
reason.
Australia is a very small country.
Really?
The truth of the matter is that it's only smaller than the US by approximately 7.7 square kilometers. Its only issue is the fact it has a small population.
Wait, what? No, that's what? Wait, what? I'm so confused with that. What you just...
The truth of the matter is that it's only smaller than the US by approximately 7.7 square kilometers.
7.7 square kilometers. I feel as though there's a little bit of a zero missing there, somewhere in there, maybe a few zeros, because we've certainly seen that that's not true. But regardless, I just get blown away that people say that they think Australia's a small country. Like, surely you've seen a map and you kind of go, okay, this one and this one. You know, I think generally everyone should know the size and at least the continent that a country is located on. So just think that Australia is a small country. Where is that kind of information being planted in their heads from?
Its only issue is the fact it has a small population. However,
I don't know
it
if that's
covers
an
a very
issue.
huge expanse, but more or less similar in size to the United States.
Yeah,
Number 14. They have some of the weirdest laws on Earth.
we have a few.
Australia has
So
some
does
of
everyone.
the strangest rules. For instance, it's a requirement that taxi cabs carry 1 bale of hay in the trunk.
What?
Why? Nobody knows, but rules are rules.
No way. How is that one not included in the video that we watched before with the weirdest rules on Earth? Like, we had, I think it was like $10,000 for crashing a wedding or something like that. And so how the hell did that one not make the list and instead a wedding one made the list? That doesn't make any sense to me, but hey, I guess it's probably just an old law. I don't even know how you do that.
And another weird rule is that in Victoria, it's illegal to don pink hot pants on a Sunday afternoon.
What?
Another notable law is that under the
Where did people
Offences
get
Act
this
of
from?
1966, it's illegal for anyone to be heard singing aloud any song deemed as obscene. That means it's illegal to sing along to 70% of rap music known to man in Australia.
True. Wow.
It's even illegal to leave one's car key in the ignition of an unattended vehicle.
What?
Safety first, right?
There are so many random things. Where were all these laws when we were checking out the random laws? Like, I would love to know where they got this information from, because I can only assume that no one, or I guess no one that works for here, has ever poured through the entire document and just going, okay, what random laws do they still have? Oh god, it's like 7,500 pages. Either way, the entire thing would certainly not make sense, because I've certainly never heard of anyone being prosecuted for anything like that.
Number 15. It's home to several A-list celebrities.
Not many, but
little known by many is that Australia has produced a great number of Hollywood celebrities. Popular actors such as Hugh Jackman,
yes.
Mel Gibson,
yes.
Rebel Wilson, Lima and Chris Hemsworth, and Nicole
Did I hear a Lima?
As Hugh Jackman, Mel Gibson, Rebel Wilson, Lima and Chris Hemsworth.
What? I swear, is this a computer that's talking and they don't know how to pronounce Liam? Anyway.
Nicole Kidman.
And Nicole Kidman,
This list
of course.
is endless.
It's not endless,
The bootylicious rapper Iggy Azalea also hails from this unique country.
Oh, yeah. That's so weird. I would never have remembered that she was. If you had asked me where is she from, I go, oh, America, obviously. Like, surely. Then you go, no, she's actually from, I think, Melbourne or South Australia. I have no idea. But either way, the entire thing, there's no way that I would have thought that she was from Australia. And then obviously we have people like Kylie and all of those. Just so many different people. And so yeah, we obviously don't have the kind of population and mass kind of A-listers in the same way that the USA does. But either way, I feel as though we're kind of pulling our weight with a lot of big stars. But there we go. I'm fairly sure that was 15
is not
facts.
short of talent or wealth. And now that you've learned some more about this country, we'd like to know, would you choose Australia as your ideal tourist destination, or would you prefer someplace else? Let us know what you think in the comments.
Well, let me know what you think in the comments as well, because I certainly would like to know. Obviously, it has a kind of reputation where it's a very touristy, but it's so far away that a lot of people never really ever make it here just because it's quite expensive. And so I guess it's on a lot of people's bucket list, but overall they just never actually manage to get here. Maybe they just have other countries they want to visit first. That's completely fine as well. But no, overall, obviously that's the 15 facts done and dusted. And yeah, there was definitely ones that we've seen before, but definitely a couple other ones where you go, what? I mean, I'm a bit unsure about some of the numbers that they presented, because I feel as though there were a couple of missing zeros or just not enough zeros. But then again, when they tell me that some people think that Australia is a small country, I just go, how do you think that? But hey, I guess that's exactly what videos like this are for. You know, if you can just learn something, then that's all for the better. But anyway, in saying that, I reckon I'm going to call it there. So thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to do the YouTube algorithmic things down below. Also, if this is the first video on Monday you're watching, then maybe you want to check out some of the other ones we've done on Australia and then internationally as well. Or hey, maybe even just want to consider subscribing so that you don't miss another one of these in the future. But all in all, have a good one and see ya.